If you look at the way drugs are actually approved in the United States, is we do these very narrow clinical trials. Often these things will be hundreds of people that will be used to approve a drug, and drugs get approved for very narrow uses and very narrow conditions on narrow sets of populations. And then once they're approved, they go out into the real world, and really what happens is there's a lot of natural experiments that get run. Doctors are allowed to prescribe fairly freely, including off-label usage of drugs. So a drug may be prescribed for one thing originally or approved for one thing, but they can use it for a different purpose. And if they find that it works, they can continue to do that. And I think there's a lot of opportunity. If you look at the publicly available data, you can get information on what all the providers are in the United States, what prescriptions they're writing. And all of this is in an aggregate level, but if you can start to connect all those different data, you can start to see different areas where diseases and drugs, clusters of where drugs might be prescribed for unusual diseases. A rheumatoid arthritis drug being applied to somebody with maybe some kind of other autoimmune disease that isn't rheumatoid arthritis. And those are just kinds of interesting lines of discovery, either for researchers or for people who have conditions that are difficult to diagnose, or they don't really understand, and really are looking for different avenues for finding some novel treatments. I really see it's that nexus of a physician and a patient talking together, trying to come up with new ideas and potential things that might work. And if we can give some extra ideas to either side, where a patient can suggest something to a physician and say, hey, I've heard this, and maybe one of these things can lead to doing some research online and finding something, or if a doctor can use it to maybe do some research on behalf of one of their patients. I think those are some of the most impactful places. And ultimately, when those things start to happen, the pharmaceutical companies they have a financial interest in figuring this stuff out. So they will eventually pick up on it and gain. But I think a lot of these things really happen with doctors and patients first.